Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live here in UFRL, and we will open up at Brazil with a wheel spin for the weather conditions. First of all, we'll start with qualifying. We've been told there are two icons to decide upon. So we do have three sunny, three cloudy, and then we have one light rain, one heavy rain. I think I might actually, because we're just going to be shuffling it a little bit. We are going to remove one of the cloudies and one of the sunnies. So we have two sunny, two cloudy, one light rain, one heavy rain. We won't be removing everything. So there you go. We'll be keeping it as is. Anything can end up showing up. So let's see how it goes. We'll shuffle it. And the first weather icon for qualifying will be, again, it's all going to be approximate. It's going to be nice and bland at the start. It will be sunny. So that's the first one. It will be sunny, right? I'll give it another shuffle. The second weather icon for qualifying. And it will be heavy rain. So you best get out track as quickly as you can. So heavy rain will be the second option then. Right. Now we'll go into the race. So it's sunny, then it's heavy rain. That is for qualifying. And then let's sort out for the first weather condition for the race. So what would it start in? Would it be sunny? Would it be a bit of rain? Would it be heavy rain? It will be, it's close, but it looks like it will just be cloudy for the start of the race. So not too bad, actually. I think the drivers will accept that. Right, another shuffle. Let's go again. The second weather icon. It starts off being cloudy in the race, and it will be cloudy again. So you know what? We've had two of them. We're going to remove the cloudy option now. So we're only going to have one cloudy option available. Right, another shuffle. And the third weather icon. Are we going to get rain? Surely we're going to get some rain. But it's going to be sunny halfway through the race. So at the moment, we're not getting a lot of rain. We're getting rain in qualifying, though. And if we get a second sunny option, I will then remove the sunny option as well. Right. Next shuffle. The fourth weather icon. Surely we're going to get some rain in this race. Is it here? Yes, it is. We're going straight to heavy rain for the fourth weather icon. I am writing these down as well, so it will be in the race day lounge once it's all done. And therefore, we'll get one more. Will it go to dry at the end? Or will the rain continue to pour down? It will go back to sunny. So there you go. We'll have rain in the race, but it will get sunny and cloudy in the race as well. So we'll get all of that. No light rain whatsoever. But it will be heavy rain in qualifying, heavy rain also in the race. So that is what we have upon us here through this. So let's pop that in the race day lounge. So if you do want to have a look, it is now posted in the race day lounge, so you can all see exactly what qualifying and the race will look like. Again, it's on approximate, so therefore it's not necessarily going to happen when you guys want it to. You can guesstimate, of course. But yeah, that's just roughly how things are going to go. Just a typical Brazilian race. Exactly, Ienshin. You get it. See? Right. So that is that sorted out. A lot of drivers are loving that. But you know what, though? It's not as bad as what people thought it could have been. Heavy rain only happening once in each session. It could have been light rain at some point as well, very easily. And you're going to get sunny at the start of qualifying, so you're going to get your early laps in, and then you can go for a little extended break if you want to. And then for the race, where you're only going to get heavy rain, most likely just after halfway through the race, but obviously depending on when the approximate setting wants to sort itself out. Right. We will now take you to the intro video, I do believe, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Engines roar, the lights go down. Adrenaline runs through the battleground. We face the edge, no time to break. One shot to win, one line to take. From the first turn through the final flare, we own the track, we breathe the dare. Speed is the language, glory the game. In the ultimate league, we rise in flame. Feel the fire, feel the speed. Push it hard and take the lead. Rollers burning, hearts collide. crowd goes wild. UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Boom, it's your time to shine. Heaven's roar, the crowd goes wild. UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Poem, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne and wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Poem, this is your day. Rev it up, let the good times play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Poem, hooray, hooray. Flags are waving, check.
Push enough.
Right, it's working. So, you guys ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
to
Mr.
Mr.
Poyo.
P.
Happy birthday to you.
you.
Hep hep.
Hooray!
Hep hep.
Hooray!
Love you.
A nice little rendition there. Right, nicely done. And we'll take you to the race.
Laters.
Right. Happy birthday, Mr. Poem, of course. Lovely done. You must be looking at that thinking, oh my God, what are you guys doing? Right then. But yeah, obviously, again, going back to how the conditions will go for this race. So we will have heavy rain. That's the second icon in qualifying. So the latter stages of qualifying will have heavy rain. But it will start off sunny. And then for the actual race itself, it's going to be dry for large parts of it, but we will be getting some heavy rain as well. So a lot to look forward to. The conditions obviously not quite so comfortable for the drivers and everything, but we'll see how it goes. I think personally it should be an exciting race. Obviously, you've got to get the strategy right. You know that the heavy rain is not going to lighten up. So, there's no point in trying to think, oh, we're just going to stay on the dry tyres. That's not going to happen. You will have to use the intermediates, possibly full wets at some stage. But yeah, I'd imagine the intermediates are the one that every driver will try and use, really. Yeah, happy birthday to Mr. P, of course, indeed, Kingy, and indeed, Cowley, right, the ready up is now going on. Yeah, a lot to look forward to. I think, obviously, Brazil, plenty of opportunities to overtake as well. But yeah, we'll expect a good race here. But let's see how qualifying goes. Again, the first sort of 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. It depends how the approximate weather's going to go. But that is what you're really looking for. After that, the drivers may decide they're going to get a little bit of heavy rain practicing. Maybe just using the intermediates, and maybe in the latter stage they might get a chance on the full wets. But I would expect drivers to try and do some practice on the inters personally, in those last 5 or 10 minutes. That makes a lot of sense to me. Right, I will be back in just a minute then, and we'll look forward to qualifying here at Interlagos. Right, so we are back and qualifying has begun. So you've got Joshy, aka Funny Wave Band, in the Kick Sauber. We've got in the Williams just out there as well. Viking Fox, Tesco Mealdills reserving tonight. Mr. Poem out there on his birthday. Ivy as well in the Haas. They're all the first 5 to head out. And they are joined by a Mercedes of Cowley, who is the 6th driver to head out here in qualifying. But all the drivers going out nice and early, so they might be trying for 2 attempts. There is that potential. Can they get 2 attempts in? That will be the question they are trying to ask themselves. I think they've got a chance. It just depends how quickly this rain is due to arrive. And then again, we see all the drivers, well, all bar one, and that driver who is left in the pits is Merck. So he's the only one who's heading out now. So every single driver within the opening 2 minutes of qualifying is out on track. That doesn't often happen. You do often get a few drivers deciding that they're going to wait a little bit of time. So that's not happening tonight. And that clearly indicates the rain is certainly on its way fairly soon. Question will be how soon. Well, it still looks decent out on track. Still a little bit of sun out there as well, actually, which is useful. What's the icon? So the first icon is sunny, so that does make sense. But again, it will go sunny to heavy rain. And once the heavy rain arrives, that's it. You're not going to get any quicker laps in. So it's all about going quick before the rain arrives. So we're just sticking on here with Josh, and we'll try and go to the drivers behind the likes of Viking Fox is closely following him. And again, they'll all be pushing towards that pole position. I think they'll all feel they have a good chance. But the one who will take it may have a good chance in the race as well. This is so unpredictable, Josh, he says on the TikTok as well. Yeah, well, that's how things are going to go. I wouldn't say it was even that unpredictable, to be honest with you. Right, here we go. 109.677 and a 109.128 for Viking. Really good lap from him. Who else is going close? You got Mr. Poem up there as well. Tesco Mealdil slots into 2nd position. Here comes Mr. P. It's quickest. 8.7 for the birthday boy. Mr. Poem is on provisional pole. Let's head up towards Cowley in the Mercedes. Yeah, those top 4 all sub 110s as Cowley actually decides to pit. Interesting decision by him. Let's go on with Kingy OG then. That actually changed the gap to the leader. Here we go, Kingy OG 1.2 off, goes 5th, fastest 10.0 for him. You've got Widget on the lap, you've got Bakey Gaming on a lap as well. Iron Shin goes 7th, fastest Bakey Gaming. Simon goes P2 and Bakey goes into 5th position. Good lap by Simon, 2.5 tenths off here. What about Widget? He goes up to P8. Merck is also just about on his lap. Quite a few drivers actually heading into the pit instead. Cowley and both Haas, Ivy and Woody, they may just give themselves one opportunity to push on a lap. A Ferrari going slowly in Sector 1. Let's see then, Merck up to the line. Here he goes, 5th fastest, half a second off for UFRL Merck's purple Sector 3. But still not close to the pole sitter. Mr. Poem looking comfortable on his birthday. Right, so Woody, Ivy, Cowley, they're all in the pits, but I'm sure they'll all be out quickly. Well, Ivy certainly is. He's already back out on a potential 2nd run. Poem, Viking, Tesco, all in the pit as well. And again, I'm sure they'll all be going out for a 2nd run. No indication as yet for the rain, but the clouds are certainly appearing a bit more darker here at Interlagos. So we'll just stick on with Ivy. Other drivers may be trying to improve on an additional run, but we'll stick with the one who we know is going to be on a hot lap next time around. And that one will certainly be Ivy, as there's a kick sauber of Joshy off track just on the right side. But now he's back on. Right, so the 2nd laps are starting, and Ivy will kick it off here for the Haas as he heads through into turns 1 and 2, of course, through the centre S's. And we'll try and complete it nice and cleanly before exiting out of Curva de Sol, round at turn 3. And now onto the Retta Posta, which leads you to turn 4. Nice little DRS zone, a potential overtaking opportunity for sure. And now heading round to Cedar de Lago. through turn 4 and around turn 5 as well. There's a Mercedes off track. But again, I think that was Cowley just ensuring he's comfortably out of the way before he starts his second run. Or, well, you may consider it a first run now. So we'll stick on then with Ivy. He's got Woody just ahead of him. Woody might be willing to give Ivy a little bit of slipstream, you know, down the straight into turn 1. So we'll try and watch out for a potential aid of slipstream and DRS here for Ivy and Woody. How likely is it? Well, it seems pretty likely. Woody's just ahead, and Ivy here coming up to the line. It will certainly get the aid of slipstream and DRS all the way. I mean, DRS is obvious, but the slipstream is useful. And Ivy up to the line. It will be P2. He's within a tenth, but it's not close enough. And Ivy is behind Mr. Poem, but they are on the front row. Now we'll go towards Woody. We might actually go towards Viking. I think he may very well be closer. He was, but he's actually invalidated, so he won't be any closer. What about Cowley? He's just started the lap, so we'll go back towards Woody. 17-7 through sector 1. And now Woody is the second driver on his second... Well, we're deeming it their second runs, because everyone did go out for a first run. Just a few didn't quite complete their laps. Both Haas and Cowley were those 3 drivers who did not complete their first runs. Whether it was due to a mistake or whatever the reason. And again, conditions, well, the weather still not hit us yet, but the clouds clearly, evidently, much darker than what they have been so far, and that will continue to be the case. Here comes Woody then, and again, once that rain hits, it will continue to plough down here at Interlagos, but Woody across the line, 9.5, goes 8th fastest. He's in the top 10 though. We now drop down as Cowley again going slow, and there you go, the rain's hit us. It is now raining, and that spells the end really for Cowley in particular, also for Iron Shin, who is gaining through the middle sector. Well, through the first sector, should I say, but I very much feel he might be up against it through sector 2. Some drivers, well, Merck's one of those who has retired already, but you get the feeling some may decide, you know what, I'm not retiring, I'm going to go for some rain practice, especially when we're going to get heavy rain in the race. There's a problem for Cowley, a big problem for Cowley, in fact. Oh, is he going to crash himself out? He has! That's crashed Cowley out. Iron Shin stays P13, Cowley not going to set a time, and Iron Shin has actually retired on track. And that will be a penalty for Iron Shin because you're not allowed to retire on track. That's a little bit silly to get a penalty for that. There you go, that is exactly what has happened. So yeah, Iron Shin then retiring on track in qualifying, which again, it will be a penalty going his way. Let's keep an eye on other drivers, and obviously Mr. Poem then will get a birthday pole position. 108.743 is realistic performance cars as well. He almost killed me, King OG says. Well, that must have been Iron Shin, I would imagine. And that is pretty much why we don't allow drivers to retire on track. Right, Mr. Poem then, your pole sitter, and a birthday boy on pole position then. DRS has been disabled, as if we needed a question in terms of whether or not it was rain or intermediate conditions, but it certainly is now. King OG taking it nice and slowly, making sure he doesn't spin out or anything. He might be thinking, can I get some wet practice in? Let's go to one of those who is trying to get some intermediate one. Okay, never mind, they're getting some soft practice in. It's Bakey Gaming. He's gone for an outlap on a set of soft tyres. I feel like it's a little bit too damp for some soft tyre practice here. I think you might be thinking to go for some intermediates. So if you are thinking now to get some practice in for the rain, well, here's a chance. If you do want to, well, you best go for the intermediates because it's clearly not dry tyres anymore. Kingy OG, the final drive to enter the pits. Let's see, does anybody decide I'm going to go for a set of the inters, or does everyone decide they don't want to do any more running here? 10th and a half lap up on my lap, and then the rain came, says Simon. Yeah. And Simon, well, that 10th and a half would have put him potentially ahead of Ivy. It would have been pretty close. Could have even challenged Mr. Poem. if you could continue with that sort of improvement. Right, the McLaren is actually heading out. So PRV Widget, let's go on with him. 7 minutes to go. We're probably going to get a good 7 or 8 minutes still of watching qualifying, just because drivers are going to want to put some laps together. Some drivers just think, you know what, I'm going to give myself an additional bit of break. Factor in, we're going to have 71 laps. Unfortunately for Joshy, he's not going to be one of them to get some additional practice, because his additional practice is in the wall. The Kicksabber has gone straight on whilst trying to get out of the pits, so therefore Joshy not partaking in the rest of qualifying, and that is not a decision that he actually wanted to make. He did want to go for some intermediate running. But again, we will stick with Widget. Most drivers are retiring, so we've only got 5 drivers left. We've got Poem, Ivy, Simon, Widget, and King OG. Ivy's the next one to retire, so we're down to 4 drivers who are willing to do any running. And again, we'll remind you guys, the quickest times were all set early in the session on a set of soft tyres, but now all the drivers, well, only one of them's on track. This man here, PRV Widget, on the intermediate. He's the only one willing to go for any sort of intermediate practice, interestingly enough. But yeah, that is certainly an interesting factor in this race. So let's stick with Widget. I say in the race, obviously in qualifying, but it will be for the race. And we'll stick with PRV Widget, see what he's doing. He's in none on the battery mode. I presume he's going to try and use it. Well, he's invalidated his run, so that's perfect. Perfect timing. And well, PRV Widget, and we'll just stick on with him whilst Poem, Simon, and King EOG all still in the pits. Are any of them planning on using a set of inters in this qualifying session? Again, obviously, you're not going to improve on your dry time. Dry weather time, should I say. But yeah. Right then. So wait and see, does Widget just want to go for one run? That's the question. My wheel disconnected, says Joshy. Well, that makes sense. That does make sense. Obviously, when he went straight on out of the pits. I was annoyed that the rain came and I was about 0.3 up on my lap. I forgot I was online and just retired. Such a muppet. Oh no, Iron Shin. I can assure you, you're online. I can assure that. Right, Mr. Poem retired, so we're down to 3 now. We've got Widget, Simon, and King EOG. Only 3 drivers left to retire from the session. PRV Widget up to the line 23.5. He does continue to stay out there. It's Widget doing the smart play here. Is the only one doing any sort of intermediate running. I mean, why is nobody else? I mean, I say why is nobody else? I know, Josh, I know you were trying to. I know that. But everybody else has decided not to do any form of running. And it's not like this rain, it's not going to spice anything up. It will do. If everyone else retires, then yeah, we can go on. But we've still got Widget on track. King Yoji obviously is in the pits. But if Widget stays out until the end, well, we can't do a lot. But again, I feel like Widget's actually doing a smart thing by just staying out, trying to see how it is on the inters. Everyone else, let's be honest, how many drivers would have got genuine intermediate running before going into this event? Then again, if they saw that it was a wheeled weather, they might have tried some. Because you'd imagine if it's a wheeled weather, you will get some form of running. That PRV Widget's actually going into the pits, which means that should be it then. He's the last driver to retire, and that should mean PRV Widget will retire with 3 minutes to go. You'd imagine, right? You would imagine. Let's see if it's going to be truthful. Yes, there you go. 3 minutes before, and Widget has now retired. So that is qualifying over. Widget was the only one in the end to do any sort of intermediate running, which I do wonder, will that benefit him later on, and will that sort of make it more challenging for the other drivers. But here we go, your qualifying results there. Mr. Poem, 8.743 is enough for pole. As we saw earlier on, it was on his first run. Ivy settles for second place, 8.824. A 9 flat for Simon, yes, a 1 minute 9.000. Viking Fox 9.1 and then a 9.2 for Tesco and Merck. Slotting into the top 6, Baker Gaming and Woody on the 4th row. 5th row for Joshy, alongside William, and then you got Widget, Kingy, Iron Shin, and Cowley, who crashed out into the wall. But then at the same time, you say that, yes, he did crash out into the wall, but also, let's be honest, he was not going to get any higher than P14 because he didn't get any official run-in before the rain arrived. Right, so we will be back in a few minutes' time, and we'll kickstart the Brazilian Grand Prix.
The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Live it up, it's time to play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Live it up, it's time to play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Live it up, it's time to play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne and wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Wrap it up, let the good times play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Wrap it up, let the good times play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild, UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Wrap it up, let the good times play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. king, yeah, you've got style, Mr. Bone. It's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Beat up, let the good times play. Lots of joy, cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hooray!
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and the time is now 20:44, and it is time to ready up. So here we go then. Our birthday boy Poem on pole, and Ivy, I do believe, is driver alongside. 800ths of a second was what was separating the top two in qualifying. And again, here in this race, there will be some rain. And it looks like it'll be probably just after halfway through the race, so we'll watch out for the heavy rain later on in this event. But it will be dry for the majority of it. It's just about how long will it take for that rain to arrive, and then not just that, but how long will it take for the track to dry up if it dries up. Because here we go, in the 100% tier, this is Brazil, and it is go, go, go! Poem gets away well, he will lean into the centre S's. Ivy alongside Simon, and Ivy just about has the advantage. Simon in P3 from Viking, from Tesco. Yellow flags for Woody in the Haas. There's a good start for the top five, and you've got Bakey and Merck down at 7th. Not the start he would have hoped for here. But down a place to Baker Gaming. He's trying to draw alongside. It's a bit of damage. Somebody has lost part of their wing here. Who has got wing damage? Because somebody certainly does. And this could cause a problem for that driver, whoever it is. I'm just turning the sound a little bit down so it's a little bit easier to hear. But wing damage for somebody, and we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Could it be Widget? Possibly. Oh, Widget's definitely had a little bit of contact there with Willie Fernandez. William just staying ahead though, and up one spot in this race, although I do actually believe he's actually level. I think that's a little glitch from the game. Who's got the damage then? Is it? It's not Merckx. Baker Gaming potentially. I mean, it's somebody near the front. We did see the damage come off somebody's car. Doesn't look like it's Viking Fox. Could it be Simon? What's more yellow flags for Woody? Tesco Mealdils enters the pits, and may very well have been Tesco Mealdils because he's got a 10-second penalty as well. You've still got 70 laps to go through. So 70 laps, you still may get a chance to get back into this race. I'm going to presume, yeah, Tesco Mealdils was the one then with that damage. And Alvin started in the top 5, where he will now drop all the way down to P14 and last for the Aston Martin team. But we head back up towards the front. 6 drivers all in this little DRS train. Poem, Ivy, Simon, Viking, Baker Gaming and Merck. So both racing bulls, 1 Alpine, 1 Williams, 1 Haas and 1 Ferrari. All in the lead group. Joshy in the Kick Sauber is now beginning to catch up to the pack as well. So we are back towards 9 drivers. Only Kingy, Cowney, Widget and then the 2 of Woody and Tesco, who've had a struggle on lap 1, are not in this lead train. And there will be DRS now, so Ivy has his chance to take over the race lead. Down the inside line he goes on Poem. A little bit more risky that one, but he does take over the lead. A 12.4 for the fast lap as well. And Ivy leads from Poem. Simon still in DRS range, but hanging on in P3. We'll check on the tyre situation then. Mediums all round, bar Iron Shin, who has opted for a soft tyre. Hards for Woody, and also hards for Tesco Mealdils, who was pitted, of course. So Woody, the only one to start on hards. Iron Shin, the only one to start on the softs. Cowley making his move on Kingy, and Cowley up into the top 10. But let's go back up towards the front. Then you've got Ivy and Poem still leading the way, and we'll head through into the middle sector. Cowley Fair heading through into turn 10. And again, there'll be no opportunistic moves just yet. into turn 10, but you would expect a couple maybe in this race. I think turn 10 tends to be a place where a driver loves to make a move if it's on. We've still got PRV Widget also close towards Kingy and County as well. Let's go back up towards the front though, with Ivy and Poem still leading the way. It is six-way battle. Merc has pulled away from Joshy, it seems. He might be the one challenging Baker Gaming here. And Merc certainly does look a lot closer. Baker Gaming going all over the curb there, which will put him in a little bit of uncomfortable pressure from the rear of Merc's. Mr. Poem is closing. Is he closing enough? Not quite. But Merc certainly is. Down the inside he'll go. And Merc makes his move. He gets through on Baker Gaming. And therefore Merc in the Racing Bulls is up the order. But the Ferrari has another look back. But the Merc holds on and retains P5. As we head up the order again, Mr. Poem still out in front. So you got Ivy, Poem, Simon, Viking, Fox. But Merc, having made that move on Baker Gaming, is now over a second shy. 1.3 off the top four. And was that a worth it move or well, worthwhile? Or does Merc think maybe could he have stayed behind? But at the same time, Baker Gaming had just sort of lost DRS to that top four as well. So I think Merc may feel he just had to go for the move. He'll feel vindicated. He certainly will feel vindicated if he can get back within 1 second of the front four. So speaking of the front four, Mr. Poem goes for a more shadow line compared to Ivy, more narrow, but nothing happening. Oh, what's that? Someone's in trouble, and it is going to be Merc. Merc has gone straight on through turns 1 and 2 beyond the centre S's, and he's lost the place to Joshy now as Mr. Poem takes the race lead. But Joshy also ahead of Merc up into the 6th place on the Kick Sauber. And there you go, so Merc's losing 2 spots and at risk of losing a place further to William as well. In the end, he just stays ahead of Willie Fernandez, but he's gone wide. Has he got damage? He has. There's damage for Merc. So there's not many walls you can go into, and I do just wonder, did he briefly tap? Maybe, but he's got left side damage. Where can he get left side damage through back end of Sector 3 into Sector 1? Did he get it maybe just trying to cross over from turn 1 into turns 2 and 3? Because obviously he had to go straight on round there, but that damage clearly has impacted him. And he may have to pit as well with that. Let's see Ivy then back ahead of Mr. Poem then. 2.5 tenths to gap. Joshy ahead of Baker Gaming. Mercs with a 10-second penalty. He's actually retiring from the race. But here we go again. Mr. Poem through on Ivy. Back in front for the race lead. So Poem P1. Ivy has to drop in behind for 2nd place. Have a look back towards Fernandez as well as he was closing in very briefly on Baker Gaming. Just not quite there for him at this moment in time, but Willie Fernandez will have more opportunities, as will Baker Gaming, to close in on Joshy. And our front four have cleared everyone else here. Poem, Ivy, Simon, Viking Fox as well. They do look very comfortable. Simon, though, is the only one really who seems to just be hanging on to the front duo. Because there are slightly larger gaps at this moment. I am just going to go further adrift. King EOG, 3.5 tenths away from Iron Shin. We'll pick it back up the front if Ivy is closing in, which he is starting to do now. Let's go towards this. Ivy round the outside, makes the move relatively comfortably here on Mr. Poem and drops Mr. Poem back to P2. And Simon and Viking. Well, Viking Fox this time is the one maybe feeling a little bit more under pressure. The gap out at 7 tenths of a second, although he is briefly putting it back in. Iron Shin, the next driver to make a pit stop. So the pit stop situation there for you. So Tesco Milder was in already, and Iron Shin. Woody, meanwhile, after making that sort of error he made on lap 1, where he's closed back in. I say ever, it may very well have been contact as well, but Woody either way did drop down the order. But having made that sort of whatever happened, he is starting to catch the group ahead, County, Widget and King OG. So the 2 Aston Martins actually do come out together. Tesco Meal Deals just ahead of Iron Shin. Obviously, Iron Shin on the fresher rubber. So maybe the Aston Martins could work together and just play a bit of DRS and just help each other get through this race. Maybe, you know, with how quickly Woody's catching up to those three ahead. It wouldn't shock me if Tesco Mealdals and Iron Shin, if they can work together, maybe can possibly catch up to that group as well. I mean, there is a large gap, but you never know. Woody Fernandez takes a little bit of a wider line, getting through on Joshi, and now almost picks up a track limit of warning, but not quite. We'll go quickly to Poem, back ahead of Ivy for P1, and now we'll go towards Joshi, because he'll take the place away from Woody Fernandez, and back up into fifth. That trio there as well. They just seem off the pace compared to the top four, don't they? Let's be honest here. The quickest four do seem to be these ones. Poem, Ivy, Simon, Viking, Fox. Yeah, they definitely look like they are the quickest quadlet in this race. And, well, can anybody challenge them? I mean, we get to really see what the likes of Tesco can do. We saw he did well in qualifying, but can he push himself up there in the race? Yeah, it's pulled away from Iron Shin, even though Iron Shin is on fresher rubber. And then you've got Woody to consider as well, but Woody's only just catching up to Cowley, Widget and King EOG. And we're not talking about who can win, we're talking about who is the quickest driver outright. And it's got to be someone from his front four. And it's got to be one of these two, really. Ivy back ahead of Poem. These two do look the quickest too, at this moment in time, in their relevant cars. And Simon, a slightly quicker car compared to the front two, and also Viking Fox a little bit quicker car as well. They're still hanging in there. So Widget going side by side, a little bit of contact, it looked like with Cowley on the exit of the centre S's, in fact. So we're just now going round at Reto Aposta. This could be a chance for King EOG potentially, but he's actually not got enough battery to challenge with Cowley. And Cowley also had a look on the inside on PRV Widget, in the end, nothing doing. I did say Woody was closing in, but now was at a point where maybe not, because 4 seconds is the gap. King EOG once again closing on Cowley. But let's be honest, a move beyond the Decido de Largo never really seems to be an opportunity to accept the invitation. So it's always challenging making a move up into turn 6. And obviously completing it into turn 8. So it's always challenging there. Got to be a risky boy or girl, of course. If you want to do that, it will be a challenge. But King EOG will certainly be considering it if he ever gets a chance to do it. Yellow flags, and it's for Woody. So, you know, he was sort of momentarily gaining. He's certainly not anymore. We'll go back up towards the lead 4. And Ivy taking either a defensive line or just working with Poem. But those two do lead Woody now with a 10-second penalty. Woody, in fact, has now retired. So we're down to 12. 61 laps of racing remaining. Woody and Merck both retiring from the race, but Poem still leads from Ivy, Simon and Viking. And sadly for these guys in this group, they're not closing in. William, Joshi and Bakey Gaming. Again, realistic car performance. I mean, Tesco Mealdils, he sort of has closed in on the 3 ahead of him, but again, it's not a major close-in. 18 seconds, that should be going down fairly quickly, with Woody obviously out of the picture in terms of the delta between them. We'll keep watching that just to see if Tesco Mealdils can close in a bit more. We're back up to the lead again. So Poem on this occasion stays ahead of Ivy, but Ivy will get another opportunity. As Joshi makes his move on Woody Fernandez, and further down the field you got King EOG. Here we go, down the inside on Cowley. Both have DRS, don't forget, on PRV Widget. They are going side by side, it's very close between them, but the Red Bull of Kingy powers through in the centre S's and is up into 9th, but they have lost PRV Widget in this battle. Woody Fernandez, meanwhile, now on the rear of Joshi once more. But yeah, King EOG making that strong move on Cowley. Is he the one maybe that they need to bring themselves a bit closer to the front, to the 3 ahead of them in the form of Joshi, William and Bakey? Can King EOG pull Widget and Cowley closer, or will he just drop them both maybe? This is a good opportunity here for King EOG now, because he looks like he's dropping Cowley a little bit. And if he drops Cowley, you get the feeling surely he can drop Widget if he can get back in DRS range, which he's close to doing, but he's not quite there just yet. He needs to get within that 1 second window. It's Baker Gaming again, looking like he wants to challenge William into turn 1. William will certainly be having in his eye on his rear view mirror as Ivy accepts the invitation from taking over Mr. Poem's lead. Simon and Viking Fox again, they're both just hanging on at the moment. Not a convincing sort of part in the race for those two. Viking Fox actually is outside of the 1 second window now, so he could be about to be dropped from that front three. There's Joshua there getting a little bit of understeer in his efforts to make a move on Willie Fernandez. Nothing doing down the inside into turn 6 for him. Let's go back up towards your race leaders then. Ivy and Poem. Well, this might be a chance for them to pull clear. Simon 8 tenths behind and Viking Fox hanging on. But he might be losing DRS here, Viking. The gap at 1 second and he will not be getting DRS. And that's it for Viking. He's out of it. We're down to 3 at the front. Ivy, Poem and Simon. Simon's red light was flashing as well. But Viking Fox certainly not in this front group any longer unless mistakes are formed. We're down to 3 then, ladies and gentlemen. Who will push on? Will it be Ivy? Will it be Poem? Can Simon sort of claw his way back into this one? There's no doubt about the situation. Ivy and Poem have looked the 2 quickest. Cowley, 3-second time penalty. And after King OG's overtake on Cowley, it's fair to say, neither of them have looked like they're quick enough to challenge Widget, because look at the gaps that have been formed between that trio. And they were all together, but all of a sudden Widget's got a gap to Kingy, and King OG's doubled that gap over Cowley. So yeah, they certainly seem to have a pace differential there. King OG and Widget's pace seems quite even actually. King OG actually starting to close back in to within a second, whereas Cowley was sort of with them, but yeah, certainly struggling since then. Don't forget Iron Shin was on the soft, so that was why he obviously decided to make his pit stop earlier on. And there you go, he's gone for set the mediums. I mean, 6 laps on softs in a full, well, it's a full race distance, don't forget. A little bit surprised about that, 6 laps on a soft tyre. King OG now has caught up to PRV Widget, had a half look down the inside into turn 1 and decides better of it. Will he get a greater line out of the Senna S's down a Retta Aposta? Let's see what he decides to do. Or does King OG back out of it? He's going to have a look down the inside. But again, no move be made into Desida Delago, so King OG has to stay behind. Baker Gaming behind Joshi, because Joshi is outside the 1 second window to Willie Fernandez. And all of a sudden, we thought earlier on maybe William was becoming under pressure from the Ferrari. Well, now the tides have turned and it is Joshi under a little bit of pressure now. And again, just a little bit squirrely on the exit, so this could cause a problem for Joshi, but Baker Gaming is not overly close on the kick Sauber. But certainly after a tricky corner at turn 12 through Junsao, well, this has opened the door for Baker Gaming to potentially get a move done on Joshi. We are just going to go up the field towards Poem once again. Baker Gaming not quite close enough to make the move on the kick Sauber as King OG takes over Widget. And Mr. Poem back in front of Ivy. Round the outside there, Simon still there within 8 tenths of a second, but again, just hanging on to the front duo. As Joshi actually temporarily gets himself back in within the 1 second window on Willie Fernandez, but losing out again. Yeah, King OG does finally get the move done on Widget, so he's up into P8, 5 seconds, the gap to Joshi and Becky and potentially William as well. So that is what King OG needs to do to push closer towards that top 5. After what was a driver of the day performance on Wednesday night, well, can he claim something similar tonight with a strong performance and make himself a little bit of a force to be reckoned with some good showings? obviously this week. So once again, Ivy through on Poem, back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. As Simon has now been dropped over a second behind, so we're down to just 2 in that front group. Becky Gaming round the outside on Joshi, and he's up into 6th. A little bit of contact actually between the duo, but he has pulled ahead of the Kick Sauber. Let's see now, can Joshi find his way past Becky Gaming? Here we go, down the inside, he will squabble, and Joshi has got himself back through, so up into P6 he goes. So Ferrari just fainted a little move down the inside, but let's go back towards top 2. Obviously Simon has now lost the DRS, Viking Fox lost the DRS several laps ago, and actually could very well say and argue Woody Fernandez's pace compared to Viking is fairly similar since Viking dropped the DRS. So Woody Fernandez, well, his pace seems to be pretty strong compared to his teammate Viking Fox, which could be a surprise. Factor in obviously William in tier 2, Viking in tier 1. Viking's been solid in tier 1 as well. It's got solid pace, that's for sure. So quite impressive by Woody Fernandez to be sticking around the pace of Viking Fox when neither of them have any DRS. And here we go, Poem once again around the outside on Ivy. And back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. We're going to go back towards Bakey Gaming. Is he close enough to challenge with Joshi? I don't think he is, so he just has to stay behind. And into turn 4 to see the Delago. It will be Joshi ahead of Bakey Gaming. Oh, this could be an opportunity here as once again Joshi just closing, or well Bakey rather just closing on Joshi. Yeah, the gap to William ahead is almost 3 seconds. And don't forget, we do have some rain still to appear in this race. And is the rain gonna be what decides the race winner? Is it definitely gonna be Poem v Ivy, or could we get another challenger? Could we get a Simon? Could we get a Viking getting back into the race? Or what about William? We've seen his pace as Ivy once again through on Mr. Poem. You never know. There's certainly drivers up for grabs here to take on a potential race win. Yeah, I think it's fair to say the race winner likely does seem to be between these two, Ivy and Mr. Poem. They've been up there through the entirety of this event. It seemed pretty obvious that the rain would appear later on, but how soon would it be for that rain to hit? Because at this moment in time, there's no clear evidence to indicate the weather will hit us just yet. So we stick on with the top 2, though. Becky Gaming has dropped places. Bit of a mistake. Becky Gaming is down to P9. He has made a mistake for Ferrari. He's lost his wing. That's the mistake he's made. He's lost his entire front wing. So there you go. Becky Gaming will have to now repair his wing in the pit, and that means he will fall to P12. After what was a decent start by him, battling in decent positions up there in the top half of the grid, but all of a sudden now he's going to be right at the rear end after that mistake, a costly mistake. And Ivy now down the inside on Poem once again, the duo at the front, trading places, not trading paint as well. I don't think they made a single dose of contact this race actually, so there are 2 cars in the pits actually. Becky Gaming being joined by Cowley in the pits. So we've still got Ivy, we've still got Mr. Poem, your front 2, and then you've got Kingy behind Joshi. Kingy's behind Joshi now. There you go, Kingy OG, you can see the pace he's picking up. What's happened to Joshi then? Joshi's pace seems to have really deteriorated here. Has he made a mistake somewhere? Did he have, could there have been contact between himself and Bakey Gaming? I mean, Is it even possible? I don't think he did. But he's lost a lot of time. I mean, he might have done, because they were the two fighting behind Woody Fernandez. As Viking Fox received a 10-second speeding penalty. So the undercut's not going to be working in favour of him. And there's the Red Bull going down. He's like, that's King OG on Joshi, and he does get the move done. So up into the top 5 he goes. Of course, they are yet to pit. Yeah, the medium tyre runners, though, certainly are looking at a potential pit stop in this race. Obviously, they have pitted already. And what tyre have they all opted to go for? Hards for Viking, Cowney and Bakey. So it looks like the medium tyre runners, if they are going to pit, they are looking at the hard compound tyre until the rain arrives, you'd imagine. So that's interesting. The medium seems to be lasting around a 20 lap mark in a full race distance. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Joshy's pace in this race, so it's really dropped off. Compared to, like, he was battling around William earlier on, and all of a sudden he's well back. He's fallen into the traps of Kingy and Widget. He's struggling even against Kingy now. Kingy's pulled clear. Joshy's not even going to get DRS as Mr. Poem once again ahead of Ivy. And into the pit goes Joshy. After what was a pretty solid opening stint initially for the first half of it, a bit disappointed by the second half of that stint. He does pit now for the hard compound tyre. Is he going to be around Iron Shin? Potentially. Yeah, I think they will be pretty neck and neck. So here is Joshy and Iron Shin just coming round as well. And there you go, Joshy, I think, just about alongside. And actually, Iron Shin is now ahead of Joshy. So Joshy's going to be held up, potentially, for an entire lap here by the Aston Martin. He'll know he's on fresher tyres. He's going to have a look down the inside, is he? He just feinted a move on the inside of turn 6, but again, nothing doing. And into the pits goes Mr. Poem. And Simon also follows him in, but Poem, the big one, entering the pits. And there's a move being made. Joshy getting through on Iron Shin. He's done it before the end of the lap, so that was promising. Joshy needed to get that move done, and he has got it done. Up into P9 he goes. So William into the pits, Simon, and of course this man, Mr. Poem. Is he going to get traffic from Kingy OG? He might just be ahead. It's going to be pretty close between them, and it is going to be Poem ahead of Kingy. Just about. You can see the traction difference there. Poem absolutely flying well over a second ahead of Kingy, now having pitted. Obviously, Kingy OG yet to pit from this Grand Prix. Or in this Grand Prix, rather. Viking Fox and back. Always closed because the McLaren of Widget has gone excessively wide. So Viking goes straight through. Simon may about to do the same thing. It's going to be pretty close. Simon has a look all the way around the outside on PRV Widget, and he is going to get the move done. He's going to not get any DRS, however, but he is within 1.5 seconds of Viking Fox and behind Viking, interestingly. Only 2 laps fresher tyres, but he's ended up behind those two. Into the pits goes Ivy. He will be behind Mr. Poem. With fresher tyres, King OG 10-second penalty. Speeding in the pits. Let's see, where does Ivy enter out then from the pits? Here we go. He will definitely be in P2. And the gap to Poem, well, it's definitely going to be seconds. 3 seconds is what's showing up. So there's a gap that Ivy does have. Fresher rubber. By 1 lap. 1 lap fresher rubber, but 3 seconds behind. That's probably not worth it. It's not worth it unless he catches him up. Yeah, probably should have appeared on the same lap, but then again, may not have expected Poem to do the undercut. That's exactly what Poem has done. He's performed the undercut, but then again, wasn't Poem leading? I think Poem was leading, so I'm surprised Ivy didn't just follow him in. Would that not have been a smart play if you're at the lead of this race to just go in with him? You either do that, you go in with him, or you stay out for much longer. I don't think pitting one lap later is the play. Yeah, I'm surprised about that. I have to say, I was expecting him to decide I'm going to stay out for either much longer or join him on that lap. As our Becky Gaming makes a move and swoops in on Iron Shin and up into the top 10. So we'll see if Ivy does close the gap again. It's 3 seconds. It will be a little bit of a challenge for him. Again, he has 1 lap fresher tyres, but how much difference would a 1 lap pay for him? I don't get the feeling a 1 lap is going to be a major advantage in this race, I have to say. Right, let's go up towards William, actually. He is closing on Tesco as Widget does go in the pits for his first stop of the evening. And Woody Fernandez is going to get the move on Tesco. Not quite, actually. Tesco just stay ahead. William is on fresher rubber, of course. Tesco Mildew is still on the same tyres that he pitted on around lap 1, I think. These are. Is he going to try and take them hard to the rain? That's not going to be easy. Not going to be an easy task. He needs that rain to come pretty much ASAP for Tesco Meal Deals here, but William does fly through and goes up into the top 5. He's having a good strong race here, Woody Fernandez. But you've got to say, out in front, it's not looking good for this man. It's not looking good for Iron Shin either, because it's a safety car. He's crashed out through into the centre S's. And we have lost Iron Shin from this Grand Prix. And it is a safety car. Now what do the drivers do? Because they've got to make a decision whether or not they want to pit or not. And if you do pit, well, the only real option is to go for a set of the mediums, really, for when the rain arrives. And that is exactly what Viking Fox is doing. He is taking the risk. And you feel like he's maybe even hoping that his teammate Willie Fernandez does not get ahead of him. Don't forget William will be under a delta. He will get ahead of him. The Aston Martin pits, that's Tesco Mill. This is crucial for him. This is his chance to get himself back into the race with this safety car, because he's only pitted once so far. He's been on those tyres since the end of lap 1. So this is good for Tesco Mill. He can go on to this fresh set of mediums. How did well, the clouds do not look bad at all. Don't forget, it was 2 doses of cloudy. And I think we had sunny as well. So 2 doses of cloudy to sunny. Ah, so this is the sunny. That means the heavy rain is not actually too far away. Because again, it was 2 doses of cloudy followed by sunny. So the heavy rain is the next weather icon. So yeah, the heavy rain is not going to be far away here. That makes things interesting. And again, we're under the safety car, which means that effectively brings the rain closer, as we're going at a slower speed. So that rain would just be brought forward ever so slightly, which will be an interesting diversion in this race. And we're just watching the drivers warm up their tyres again to be prepared to go. I certainly brought Ivy back in. He's got 1 lap fresher tyres, and he was actually losing time. I was going to say that just as Iron Shin actually crashed out. I was going to say Ivy had lost about 0.6 of a second to Mr. Poem when they were in clear air. So Poem's pace did seem stronger, but well, Ivy certainly has seemed a match for Poem when it comes to them both doing a DRS sharing. So Viking Fox, who went for the first medium as well, he's down to P8 now. So was that particularly wise for him? Oh, Iron Chin just said he had a power cut. Ouch. So that must have been why, in the end, his car actually crashed out. Yes, that's, sorry to hear that, Iron Chin, mate. Right, so the leaders in this race, and you've got Poem, Ivy, Simon, William, Joshy, Kingy, Bakey, Viking, Cowley, Widget, Tesco, Mildos. That's your 11 remaining in that order. The safety car may be out for one more lap again. The safety car's been a little bit dicey on this game. We'll see once it hits the sector 2 split line if it's going to be in this lap or not. I'm hoping it stays out for one more lap, you know. It looks like it will actually. It's going to be one more lap under the safety car. Unless the Aston Martin catches up. Which it doesn't look like it will. So we are going to go, it seems like, for one additional lap under the safety car. And yeah, safety car's not going in. So one more lap we'll get. Which again, just brings that rain ever so much closer. Now looking at the clouds, you could just see them very briefly there. It's certainly looking a little bit darker than what it was just a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, they certainly look a faint grey on those clouds up above. Just going on a direct onboard with your race leader, Mr. Powen, whilst we're under the safety car. And yeah, you could just see up in the top of your view, just a little bit grey, some of those clouds. Clearly indicating the rain is not too far away. So it's interesting. Again, we'll keep an eye out for that. So I would expect the safety car to be in this lap, so we'll be back in just a second. Right then, so telemetry back on. Just for the restart, and then we will switch it straight back off. Right, Poem from Ivy, who will get away the best. Poem gets to decide when he goes, and now he's going to go. Clean start. And that's what I wanted to do. There you go. So Poem back in front, Ivy, but Simon is all over the rear of Ivy. They're side by side, William and Joshy. Joshy has now got the outside to the inside line, and William, oh, off track goes a Sauber, who edges just ahead. And Willie Fernandez back alongside here, the battle for P4, Joshy versus William. William swoops round the outside, and Fernandez is into the top 4. Joshy just down into 5th, then you got Kingy and Baker Gaming. And again, they're still battling in this group. Oh, Josh is off. Joshy just went off track slightly there. He's actually received a 3-second time penalty as well. Given he's been off track a couple of times on this lap, it seems fairly reasonable that he does pick up the penalty. And we'll mention Viking Fox, who was just having a look down the inside of Bakey there. He has not made any moves from P8. As the McLaren of Widget closing in on Cowley on much fresher tyres, don't forget Widget and Tesco compared to Cowley. Mr. Poem has got a gap out, 0.8 of a second on Ivy. It looks like Ivy might be the quicker car down the straight, but it looks like Poem has a better car through Sector 2. So DRS enabled again. Let's have a little look at the cloud situation when it's not any darker than what it was a moment ago. As Tesco Meal Deals pulls ahead of PRV Widget, but we're still waiting on Viking Fox to make some moves, but again, not close enough on this occasion. And that lead group, well, it's definitely a three-way battle as PRV Widget back ahead of Tesco Meal Deals. Mr. Poem is putting a gap on Ivy again. here in the middle sector. He does look good with the downforce, but is his biggest challenge the straight line speed? Is that how Ivy is just getting back through on him, or was getting back through on him earlier in the race? Or is there some sort of setting Poem has changed? Maybe he's not adjusted his assists, of course. But what I mean is, has he upped maybe a differential setting? Has he changed the brake bias? Changed the wing setting? The front wing obviously could be adjusted in the pit stop. Has he done something like that maybe? As there's an incredible battle going on here. They would send down the inside. Viking Fox has made his way past 2. He's ahead of Joshi and Baker Gaming. And Viking will get DRS on King OG as well. Joshi not close enough to make a move, and Viking Fox has got the double. He's up into 6th now on the fresher mediums. Next up will be Kingy OG. Then he's got his teammate, Willie Fernandez, who is still in that top 4. Viking Fox may get himself back into that front group here. Certainly not far away from it. Let's go back up towards... we're not going to go towards Ivy, we're going to go towards Tesco. Down the inside on Cowley. And Tesco milled it up into 9th position through on the Mercedes. A little bit squirmy on exit there as well, but he's got his way up the field, up into P9. We're going to head back up to the front 2. Poem and Ivy, who have pulled a second on Simon. That's far quicker than what they managed earlier in the race. William as well has dropped out. Kingy also dropping out. Viking hanging on. Ivy making a move on a Poem stick. He leads the race. And once again, Poem down to 0.4 of a second. He got a shot at making a move on Ivy here. There's some small gaps between Kingy, Viking and Joshi and Baker Gaming, all within half a second roughly of each other. Viking Fox was actually closing in on Kingy, but once again not close enough to make a move. We're just sticking here with Mr. Poem. At least up until the point when Viking Fox actually decides he's going to make a move on Kingy, which just not occurring just yet. And once again, just keeping an eye out for the skies, which do look a little bit more grey as the laps go on. Yeah, they're certainly more darker now. So we are just keeping an eye out for them as well. And the track certainly looks a little bit more sharper as well. So that rain, not too far away. Don't forget, it was set to go up just after halfway through the race, sometime in the second half. And we are approaching the halfway mark. Poem around the outside on Ivy and once again up into P1. They have cleared of William as well, so William is the one under attack. King OG may have himself an opportunity, as will Viking Fox. So Poem and Ivy still lead. Simon about a second away as a McLaren in the distance making a move. That's PRV Widget through on Cowley. Widget up into the top 10 he goes. Viking Fox then gained 2 positions since the safety car restart, up into P6. Still behind King OG and William, however, so those mediums not really working as efficiently as maybe Viking Fox would have preferred them to do. But again, let's be real here. The gaps have not opened up substantially yet. So Viking still has a chance at catching up to the leading duo, but the longer it carries on like this, the longer those mediums will struggle compared to the hards. So I get the feeling Viking Fox is probably not catching them up. He might try and challenge Simon for 3rd. Even that doesn't seem overly likely right now, as Ivy once again back through on Poem and back up into P1. So on with Kingy OG. On the rear of Willie Fernandez. Doesn't look like he's close enough. Cowley, 3-second time penalty. And that's the penalty situation then. So we've got 3 seconds for Joshi and Widget, 6 seconds for Tesco, 9 for Cowley, 10 seconds for Kingy OG still to serve. And a position change there for you. Up 7, Kingy up 6, Willie Fernandez in a great race so far. We'll just keep an eye out for a few crucial battles. Obviously, the front two, Ivy and Mr. Poem, leading the race. A battle for fourth, or well, third now. Simon, William, Kingy, and Viking is there as well. So we go back on with Viking, and here we go. The rain's hit us. It is now raining. We did say the skies were getting darker. It's dark enough. It's grey, and it will go to heavy rain conditions as well. It may go to full wets even. It will definitely get to intermediates. Joshy has a 10-second penalty, but he will be going to the inters at the very least, and there will be another pit stop later on because we will probably go to dry tyres or full wets or something else. But Joshy into the pits for the intermediate. He's the first driver to do so. And now with that in mind, let's get the gap to the leader on. But now I'll leave it on none, just because we know all the drivers are on dries bar Joshy. As the gap to the leader that is on the screen for you. So it's not the interval. The gaps at the moment that we have are the gaps to the leader. And Joshy comes out of the pits 28 seconds behind P1 Mr. Poem. So we'll watch if that gap goes down. At the moment, it is increasing slightly. Only slightly. By 0.3 of a second, make it half a second. Yeah, that gap's increasing every single corner, actually. So, probably not ready yet, because Joshy has lost 1 second since pitting. So watch out if any of the drivers do make an audacious move to pit. But I get the feeling Joshy has made a mistake there. Vikings say now Kingy OG, Tesco Meal Deals and Baker Gaming all decide to pit. Interesting call given that Joshy has lost multiple seconds, and yes, multiple seconds on this lap. Too early, I completely agree. I mean, he's lost like 6 seconds since he's pitted, and that was 1 lap ago. He might have made a mistake in that time, but still. Let's have a little look then. So Joshy would definitely have lost time because he's actually going to be behind the likes of Bakey and Tesco as well. So you've got Baker Gaming here behind Tesco Meal Deals. So Tesco Meal Deals is now the net leader of those on Inters. It's not the net race leader. The net race leader still stands as Mr. Poem ahead of Ivy. But watch the gap now. 29 seconds to Tesco Meal Deals. We'll see if that gap does go down. It's certainly not going down right now. I'll be honest, it just looks greasy. It doesn't look... It's not wet. It's not wet out on track. DRS disabled. Is that the point now where it does change? Because you do start to see... And there you go, Poem and Ivy. They're all going to start going into the pits now. But again, the delta to Tesco Meal Deal is not like it's radically going down. It is starting to go down now. But again, it will only get heavier this rain from now until it stops, pretty much, because it is heavy rain that is forecasted. So this is now the point where anything can happen. Widget and Cowley are the two who have taken on the baton to stay out. Poem and Ivy are both out of the pits here, and Poem obviously ahead of Ivy. Let's go to the gap, to the interval again. And we'll go back to the tyre situation. Viking Fox has gone for the full wets. I'm going to be honest, Viking. I know it's going to be full wets soon as Cowley decides he's not happy with the track. But yeah, I think it's a little bit too soon for the full wets, Viking Fox. I just think a little bit too early. Ever so slightly. He must be absolutely kicking himself right now. He's obviously just misclicked. He'd gone for full wets and he knew he wanted to go for inters. Surely he didn't actually want to go for full wets because he's going to lose so much time. You can see Joshy behind him like, come on man, let me go. He's now finally got through. Yeah, full wets definitely a mistake from Viking Fox. I do get the feeling it was just, he must have just misclicked. Is he going to pit straight away for the inters now? Widget's in the pits, by the way. Cowley will also follow suit. It will get to full wets. You get the impression, or if it doesn't, it's going to be very close to full wets. Viking Fox actually decided, you know what, I'm staying out on these full wet tyres. Interesting. So whether or not it was a misclick, well, he's deciding, you know what, I'm deciding that's it. So therefore, we'll keep an eye on what happens in with Viking, and obviously Cowley also going for the full wet as well. So he's deciding to do exactly what Viking Fox has done here. So just going to keep an eye here for Mr. Poem and Ivy. Yeah, it's interesting strategy there. Going for the full wets. I mean, obviously you're trying to take out the additional pit stop for the inters, and you're factoring in it will get to full wets. That's not guaranteed. I know it's heavy rain. That is forecasted, but it's not exactly guaranteed that it's definitely going to be full wets. So we head out of turn 12 through Junsao and out into the long main straight here. Will Ivy have another opportunity? He does seem to have a quicker car down the straight, and you can see just how much quicker he seems because he's clearly closing in on Poem. But again, just not quite close enough. But he's quicker down the straights compared to Mr. Poem. So if he's within 4/10 of a second heading out of turn 12, or even heading out the centre S's where he certainly is now, but it's not as long of a straight. So it's once again just has to settle for P2. Viking Fox into the pits, getting rid of his full wet tyres. We get back towards the leaders. But yeah, so Viking Fox, obviously it was a mistake. So I don't think, and I don't think Viking Fox wanted to pit for full wet. I think he did want to go inters. I just think he made a mistake, maybe just clicking the wrong button, and that's it. I can't imagine that he actually did try and go for full wets, because otherwise it wouldn't make a mistake why he's pitted now. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, for me that doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't pit in that situation unless you knew you made a mistake. Yeah, I don't think it's a gain at all. Like, Cowley's going to be so far off now on those full wets. Until it actually hits full wet conditions, which it's still not particularly close to doing, I don't think. Ivy, once again, gets a greater acceleration, greater drive out of the Teneresses down the curve of the Sol into the Retta Aposta. And once again, not close enough into the Cedar de Largo, and therefore Mr. Poem retains the race lead. But Ivy certainly closing in, and also Simon. 1.5 seconds the gap to the Racing Bulls driver. He seems to have decent pace in these intermediates. So we might watch out for Simon. He's closing in on that top two. You know, this battle for the lead may not just stay two-way. It might become a three-way battle. I think Simon is about to enter the fray and enter the battle for the win. I mean, after that, you've got William and Tesco Meal Deals and Baker Gaming all together, but they are miles off the pace of these front three, and Simon is almost within 1 second. I know we're not going to get DRS, but if he gets to within a second, Mr. Poem's not going to have to think about one driver, he's going to have to think about two drivers. And not just that, Ivy, the same thing. He's not just thinking Mr. Poem ahead, he's going to have to certainly look back a couple of times towards Simon, and once again, not close enough into turn one for the Ceneresis. So is this a sticky point now for Ivy, where he thought he was comfortable in terms of he either could make a move on Poem or he could stay in P2? Now all of a sudden, he's got a driver to look back towards in the form of Simon, who is just steady on his pace at the moment, 1.3 behind, not quite close enough to challenge, but he's still there in their rear view mirrors. If they do have a look back, they will see the Racing Bulls of Simon there as well. That's not what Mr. Poem would have wanted, and certainly not what Ivy would have wanted. I think this puts Ivy under the most pressure. Because now, is it make or break where he has to make a move on Poem, otherwise he's going to become under threat from the Racing Bulls behind. And then further back still, Tesco Meal Deals, half a second to Williams, so he's certainly looking close as well. We will just keep an eye on that delta whilst they are battling a little bit. Or trying to battle, if Tesco can get close enough. Oh, Poem goes wide! Poem has gone wide, out of turn 12 through Jinsao, and this opens the door for Ivy potentially. Can he get down the power? Here he comes. He's getting closer and closer and closer. Down the inside goes Ivy. Through into the centre S's. Side by side. Ivy v Poem. Who takes the lead? Into the centre S's through the second part. Ivy's ahead. He goes off track. Poem on the outside line. Beyond the curve of the soul. Down the Retta Aposta. Still side by side. Poem with Ivy. Poem holds the lead. Ivy could not quite challenge hard enough. And now Simon is on the fringes as well. He's within 0.3 of a second. 0.4 of a second. It's a three-way battle for the lead. Poem v Ivy v Simon on lap 42 here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Absolutely mental stuff between them again. Poem just going slightly wide, opens the door once again for Ivy. It's always going to be challenging to get the overtake done. Do just wonder if Ivy let off a little bit to let Poem back through after going off track through into those out the centre S's. Maybe that was why Ivy in the end didn't quite complete the move. It was close though, but Poem done well to hold on. But again, with Ivy and Simon right in behind, again Poem goes wider. And that's Fu Jinsao once again. So Fu turns 13, 14 and 15. It will be under pressure because Ivy with the greater straight line speed with the slipstream and the power down the straight into turn 1 again. Is he close enough to go alongside? He made a bit of contact. It looks like Poem just about has the advantage again. But a little bit of contact was formed. Ivy does again have an opportunity. Beyond turns 1 and 2 and 3. Down the Retta Aposta. Doesn't look like he's going for the move. Yellow flags. What's happened? Isn't it in trouble? You've got Viking and Cowley together. So Viking, Fox and Cowley look like they made contact. And that was heading round turn 10. So certainly looks like something there. Maybe just to, if there's any admins or any stewards around, feel free to note down lap 42, turn 10, between Viking, Fox and Cowley. It looks like there may have been contact between those two drivers. But yes, Mr. Poem, Ivy, Simon, all around. I think Woody's on race control, so he may have even seen it, potentially. If not, again, you could just note it down and it will be looked at. Simon just briefly dropping out, but again, Poem go wide out of Jinsao. Will just, again, give an opportunity here for Ivy, but he's just too far back now. Yeah, 0.7 of a second. He's not anywhere near range to make a move into turn 1, so he will just have to decide on this occasion to back out of any overtake. Mr. Poem defending fiercely thus far, but defending well enough to retain the lead of this race on his birthday. Ivy and Simon, well, they'll certainly hope to effectively ruin his birthday. I mean, if they can get the lead away from him. But it's not looking a particularly easy job for Ivy or Simon yet. Again, heavy rain conditions, and it does look like we have got the heavy rain now. So, will the heavy rain move into dry conditions for the end of the race? That's the question, because again, we are supposed to get sunny conditions for the final icon. The final weather icon is sunny, which will mean instead of it being cloudy, with, you know, or light rain, where it would still be difficult for the weather to clear up, with sunny conditions, that means the track will dry up quicker than if it was cloudy or light rain. We'll bear that in mind as they're both just struggling on the exit of Jinsao, which again, if we're being honest, it favours Mr. Poem here because Ivy just won't get close enough to make an overtake done unless Poem's out of battery rather, the ERS system. And on this occasion, well, Mr. Poem does retain the race lead once more. Well, you say it's a game out of who makes the first mistake. Well, I would argue they both made a mistake on that occasion. But, again, they both done exactly what they need to stay 1 and 2. But yeah, they did both make a little small mistake, actually, out of Jinsao. And once again, Ivy just closing in as we head up the hill into turn 6. turn 7 just through this right-hander and now up into turn 8. But yeah, three-way battle for sure. We've also got a battle down here. Tesca Milders behind Willie Fernandez. Cowley is still on those full wets as well, might I add. Which don't seem particularly favourable for him, if I'm going to be honest. Although, I do feel like it's not far away from the full wets working efficiently. But it would surprise... I don't know. Would you pit for full wets? I mean, if you do pit for full wets, you've got to factor in it's going to go back to drier conditions potentially late in the race. Which obviously means you're going to go back to inters and then potentially a set of dries as well. I don't think the full wets are going to be used here. Either way, Ivy down inside on Poem. They are going to go side by side. Has Ivy got the move done? Has he got the lead? Ivy leads out of the centre S's, beyond the curve of the soul, round at the Retta Aposta. Ivy from Poem and Simon right in behind into Tessina Delago as well. But now the three-way battle has been unleashed because Ivy leads. Poem now looking in his rearview mirror. We'll see Simon enter alongside. Simon into turn 6. Poem goes a bit wider, lots of traction. And now they're still continuing. Simon has another look on the inside, but Poem fends him off. Stays in P2. And Poem will be hoping this rain disappears quickly. Again, another little slip and slide again for Simon as well. Yeah, Poem will be hoping this rain slips away. Ivy probably want the rain to continue for the remainder of this race because he has looked very quick in these conditions. Poem's not too far away though. It's still only a 1 second gap. It's not like the gap has opened up to 2 seconds on this lap. It's still a 1 second gap, but we do know Ivy was quicker down the straight here. So Poem will get the slipstream, but how much of an advantage will that be? Not too much, although he hasn't really lost any time, so the slipstream clearly not being particularly harmful. Mr. Poem didn't lose anything really, and it's through the corners where he may gain, although he does go slightly off there. Must have been a track limits warning, or at least very close to being that. It's now dropped to 1.1 seconds, so we did lose about 0.3 of a second there with that little error beyond the centre S's. And once again as well, this man here, Tesco Mealdils, still some 0.6 back from Willie Fernandez, being closed towards the Williams for multiple laps, but again, not close enough to go for the overtake. So we head back up towards your front three, and again, Poem is not losing any time to Ivy. So we all thought, well, I think many people would have thought if Ivy can get ahead of Poem, he could put out clear. That's clearly not the case. Poem is sticking with Ivy. And again, maybe people wouldn't have thought that after how close Ivy was to the rear Poem and how close he was getting towards the overtake. But all of a sudden, Poem has kept it pretty close for the last 2 laps after being overtaken. He still ran a 1 second window, and he certainly closed in to within 6 or 7 tenths as well during that period. The closer drive out of the trio is certainly this man here, Simon. But he's still some 0.6 away, so he's just not quite in the vicinity of an overtake just yet, although Mr. Poem with a slight error compared to Simon. But then again, even if Poem made an error, guess what? He still gained time on Ivy. That's for sure. I wonder out of this trio, who is actually the quickest driver right now? I mean, I don't think that's an easy question. Who is the quickest driver right now out of this trio? The only one who we haven't seen lead out of this trio is Simon. But he's had a couple of periods where he's dropped well outside of 1 second and he's got back in. Poem looked like he was going to drop back, and then he's got back in, and now look at him, he's right in behind Ivy again. We thought Ivy was going to pull away where he hasn't done. And then Ivy, when he was all over Mr. Poem as well, but again, just couldn't quite complete the move. They've all had their opportunities in the lead. They've, well, apart from Simon. So both Ivy and Poem have been in the lead. They've both been second. They've not been third yet. Simon's not been in the top 2 yet. But now, this may be an opportunity for Simon as he just drifts out of Jin Sao. Again, not quite close enough either, so we're going to stick on with this battle. But they all will just keep it where they are. It will be Ivy from Poem from Simon. Then you've got William ahead of Tesco and Meal Deals for 4th and 5th. Yeah, certainly will be interesting though. And again, as Poem goes off at the centre misses, that will cost him half a second. As he gets a little bit squirmy on exit as well. The rain still absolutely ploughing it down. We're only down to the last 22 laps as well. It's not like we've got a lot of time to go. As both drivers make a slight error, Poem going a little bit wide. Simon making a little traction error, but nothing too major. Yeah, at this moment in time, the rain's still absolutely hammering it down here at Brazil. We're still waiting for the potential or possibility of dry running. Will we get any dry running? That will be the question, or will it just remain intermediates to the end of the race? And if it does remain inters, do the drivers need to pit again? Because don't forget, the tyre wear on this game, not particularly helpful for the drivers. They may have to stay on inters to the end. And if they do, well, they might have to use a second set of them. And you know what? They're opening the door to William and Tesco as well. If they keep opening up that window to P4, then they might say, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to pit. Like Simon, he could be the one. If there's anyone going to pit out of this front three, it could very well be Simon. He might say, you know what? I don't think I'm overtaking Ivy or Poem on these inters. But I reckon I've got a chance if I pit for a fresh set of inters and try and catch them up. This might be a chance for Simon. He might be the one to unleash a strategy call and get some sort of form from it. Well, watch out for Simon and potentially thinking about a pit stop to try and go inters to the end and undercut his rivals and leave Ivy and Poem in a difficult situation. Because they will do that. If Simon makes a pit stop and comes out in clean air, which he could do if William and Tesco keep dropping back at the rate they've been doing, then they will have clear air to themselves. And that will give a massive advantage for Simon if he does want to undercut or catch and beat his rivals. Or as Poem just sliding through out of turn 10 again. Yeah, which driver would you want to be right now? I mean, I get the feeling you'd want to be either Ivy or Simon, just because Ivy's leading obviously makes it more difficult for Poem, but then if they are going to make a pit stop, Poem could decide to undercut Ivy. But at the same time, Simon in P3, well, he's got all the tools he can do because he can see the two drivers ahead of him and he can see the gap to the cars behind him. And he can see exactly if he could successfully get ahead of William and Tesco in this race. He won't pit unless he's ahead of William and Tesco, like, clearly. And I think he's got to be maybe 25 seconds clear just to make sure. So that's the gap Simon really wants to look for, about 25 seconds on William and Tesco. But we'll see if he can secure that gap, because it's going to be a close run. But at the moment, it's top 3, well, they are looking good. But Simon will be looking to open up a good time advantage over William to look for a potential pit stop for another set of inters. The rain has certainly died down a little bit though. It's not raining as fiercely as what it was 3 laps ago. It was heavy rain. Now it's certainly gone back down to light rain, and again we are set for sunny conditions for the end of this race. So it's not going to get any heavier, this rain, than what we've got now. So these drivers might be thinking I have to stay on the inters until it gets dry, but will it get dry in the last 20 laps? Iron Shin says he thinks Simon is in the best position. He may very well be, but it's going to be a close one. As all of them will have... I think at this moment they might just all have to stay out and see what happens with this weather. I think it could be too much of a risk for Simon. Obviously he's getting closer, by the way, towards Poem. And the more this weather dries out, which it is starting to do, the more it favours both Poem and Simon as well in terms of closing in on Ivy. It's a lot easier to close in on inters compared to full wets. In terms of conditions, I don't mean in tyres necessarily. Yeah, in the conditions, it's certainly easier to close in on the inters compared to full wets. And obviously, much easier once it gets to dry running, which we may get later on. We're down to the last 20 laps and Ivy, Poem, Simon, all within 1 second of each other. Not just within 1 second of the car ahead, 1 second separating this trio. Ivy, Mr. Poem and Simon. And further back as well, Woody Fernandez, 7/10 ahead of Tesco Mealdals. Tesco still has that penalty. 6 seconds he has. Those are the penalty situations for you all as well. I don't really need a tyre situation, do I? If we're being honest, we all know they're on inters apart from Cowley. Maybe we'll just go with the penalty situation then, with that in mind. But yeah, Simon could still be looking at a pit stop here. If he does look at that pit stop and undercut Ivy and Mr. Poem, that's exactly what he could do. You don't, if you are going to go to dry tyres, you don't want to go to dryers too early. If you go to dry tyres too early, guess what? You're just going to drop further and further away. So yeah, you don't want to do the undercut too soon, but if you do the undercut at a perfect time, this is key. And maybe Mr. Poem thinks, you know what, I might actually be in the best position. He's now shaping up a little move down the inside on Ivy. But Poem might be in a better position now. You've got to factor in, he can see exactly what Ivy's going to do. If Ivy stays out, he might say, I'm going to do a 1-lap undercut. We know there's no more rain coming. And he might be able to take a lead from there. It's going to be tricky for all 3 drivers to decide when is the best time to pit. But he might also say, I can see Ivy. If Ivy pits, I'm pitting with him. He might do that. So, you know, for the likes of Poem, for Simon, they can see exactly what the cars ahead are doing. For Ivy, it's a lot more difficult. He's got to judge based on what he feels. As further down the field, we've got Viking ahead of Widget. Viking Fox up into P9 on a slightly fresher set of intermediate tyres. But we're back up to the lead with Ivy. Does he decide he's going to make a stop on this occasion? There will be yellow flags for Cowley on that Mercedes. Yeah, Ivy, Poem and Simon all remaining in the top 3. And again, about 1 second separating them, so they're still in a good position here. The rain still coming down, still light rain conditions. We might not even get dry running. If we don't get dry running, could Simon really think I'm going to go for the inters to the end? They'll obviously be keeping an eye and asking their, they will be asking their engineer if we are due for dry running at any point, and the engineer will probably just be saying, oh, it's still raining, as if they can't see that. Cowley with a little penalty on there as well. Gotta love when the engineer's like, oh, I think it's still raining. Yeah, we can see that. We just want to know how long it's going to rain for. Yes, at this moment in time, this is the key battle, but again, there's still a battle behind. Becky Gaming as well, might I add, is almost within 1 second of William and Tesco Mealdale, so he's closing in that battle for 4th. But once again, Ivy and Mr. Poem, 1 and 2. Simon in 3rd. Do any of them think about a set of inters? No. I think that's pretty much going to be it then. They are going to just stay out and hope. And hope and pray it does get to dry running. That's what they seem to be doing. But again, the longer it stays out there and rains, there's no clear indication that the rain's going to stop. It's light rain at the moment, but again, it should be getting to sunny conditions. No clear evidence to suggest it will go to sunny conditions here. I think Mr. Poem will certainly want it to go to dry weather to give himself the best opportunity with DRS and DRS to get through on Ivy. Ivy might say, you know what, I'm happy with the conditions as they are, just stay wet enough to stay on the inters. Like, you do see a drier line that's clearly forming. Obviously it's not dry, but it's drier. Yeah, you definitely do see the drier line forming there. That's exactly what the drivers are trying to create. But whilst it's still raining, it's obviously not going to be easy. Not going to be easy there for Ivy. A little bit of an error on corner exit, which will give the chance to Poem. And Poem there, going to the inside line. That's a smart move because he's actually gone to where the standing rain is. And that's pretty much what you wanted to do to keep the tyre temperatures nice. You want to keep them as, well, keep them under good temperature here. And that's exactly what Poem is doing by going to a different line. And again, he's going to where the rainfall is. And that's also what Simon was doing there. You see what Simon was doing, going to that inside line to make sure he's keeping his tyres where the rain is. That is ideal for those drivers. Any sort of real main straight, they will try and do that. You've only really got a couple, so it's a little bit more tricky. Because you don't want your tyres to overheat. If they do overheat, then, well, that's the point where you may have to pit. I mean, the rain's still there. I mean, are we even going to get dry running? We're at a point now where Simon could still think right now, you know what, I'm going to just pit and go for the fresh inters to the end. Because this rain's still out there. We've still got 15 laps to go. I'd be asking my engineer right now how long. Okay, I can't ask how long it's going to be, but I'd definitely be keeping, you know, an ear out. If the engineer is saying to me got 10 to 15 minutes of rain, then I would probably just go for a set of inters to the end. If he's saying you've got 5 minutes of rain, then you might have to stay out. But 10 to 15 minutes of rain, that could see Simon decide I'm going to pit. We've also got here Tesca Meal Deals behind William. Becky Gaming still there within a second as well. Yeah, it does open a door here. We've got a few good battles going on, obviously for the lead, also for P4. Josh, he looks like he will definitely lose out to King OG in this race as well. Let's head back up the order then. Ivy, Poem and Simon. And Simon just seems to be dropping back a little bit more. He looked more comfortable when it was heavy rain conditions, but now not quite so comfortable once it's hit to the light rain. But again, he's got a good gap to Woody Fernandez. I mean, if it's ever a time to pit for a fresh set of inters, surely now was the time. He's got the gap that he needs on the cars behind, I think. He's got to really think about a pit stop, and he's not doing it yet. I'm not saying he definitely should, it just depends on whether or not the rain is going to continue to the end. If it will continue to the end, I'll be looking at a fresh set of inters. The fresh set of inters, you might not get, you might not fully close the gap on the top two, don't get me wrong. But you give yourself a chance, because what's the best Simon's going to get right now if nothing changes? Probably P3. What's the worst he's going to get if he pits for a fresh set of intermediates? Probably P3. You see where I'm getting at with this. If he pits for a fresh set of inters, then he's not really going to lose anything, and you never know, he might end up gaining. He's not got any penalties, so he doesn't really have to worry too much on that. Yeah, I still think he would be wise if, and only if, the rain will continue. But again, it's still light, but it's still there. We've got 13 laps of racing to go once we get to the line. I mean, is it not worth going for the fresh set of inters? I don't blame Ivy and Poem. They've got to go to the end because they can't do what Simon does. Simon's got himself a chance, and again, he's staying out. I mean, he has to be thinking, right, there's no doubt in my mind, it's 100% going to be a set of dry tyres soon. And the rain actually looks like it may have even stopped. Looking at the halo, I don't see any rain, so it does look like the rainfall was ending. And do you see a dry line? There you go. That's exactly what we needed for these drivers at the front, because they need to know if it was going to be raining to the end, or if we were genuinely going to get a dry running. We've now got a dry running, which is exactly what they needed. Let's go to the tyre situation. There you go. Tesco Meal was the first one to go for a set of mediums to the end. And he's on a medium tyre that he started the race on as well. So it looks dry out there, but again, Is it dry enough for dry tyres? Probably not. Probably not, according to that. But we'll keep an eye out as, again, he just drifts into the wall. I think he's going to find this a little bit tricky. There might still be the occasional rain drop around, actually. Let's see on this view. Maybe not, but still not overly easy for him. Viking Fox also for a set of softs. And PRB Widget is also in. Let's get back up to the leaders then. Ivy and Poem. Is this where Poem's going to get a move done on these enters? And I get the feeling they will begin to overheat here as well. How long have they gone on these enters? Well, they've gone over 20 laps, 23 laps for the majority. And there is a driver, that is Willie Fernandez. I thought he was pitting for a moment. He's actually not. He's trying to defend the place against Baker Gaming, as you can see just here. But Mr. Poem is closing the gap again, though. Will we get DRS? County's left the session. Well, I am online, luckily, so County should be able to join directly on me. But once again, these are your three race leaders. The gap to the leader is what's showing as well, so you can see the deltas to dry tyre runners. Which are all of the bottom 5 are on dry tyres, so you can watch their deltas, see if they are going down. Ivy, Poem and Simon, what do they decide to do? They decide to pit if your name is Ivy. You don't pit if your name is Mr. Poem and Simon. That's exactly what I was saying. When it comes to you could see what the drivers ahead of you do. Ivy could not see what Mr. Poem and Simon were going to do. He had to make the call himself. That's his call. DRS enabled. That could be a mighty call. As the glitch, the typical glitch where the car doesn't actually look like it's out, but it clearly is. That could be a real mighty call. That could be a race winning call. But he's only got a set of hard tyres to run to the end. That could be a race losing call. Hards to the end for Ivy. And now let's go to the leaders. King OG with a 10-second speeding penalty. That's another 10 seconds for him. I think he got another 10 seconds earlier on. Well, they should have boxed. Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. But at the same time, you've got to really consider well, Ivy's on the hards. Surely these guys are thinking softs to the end. Again, factor in, it's a full race distance. If you're going to go softs for 10 laps, then guess what? Those soft tyres are effectively lasting you 5 laps in a 50% race. Into the pits goes Poem, into the pits goes Simon. Make sure you don't speed, lads, and they don't. Crucial for them. Now, what tyre do they go on to? It's not going to be hard, is it? Surely. Poem's on softs. Simon is also on softs. I get the feeling that this man Ivy is going to be under pressure. He's on the hards. He may not even be in the lead. Because Poem, he is coming out of the pit. It's going to be neck and neck, but Poem has the advantage. Poem versus Ivy. Ivy round the outside. Poem leads the Brazilian Grand Prix. Here comes Ivy. Not quite. He was shaping up a move down the inside, but on the hard tyres, Ivy is behind Poem on a set of softs. What has he done? This is a massive blunder by Ivy, surely. This is going to gift Poem the win. He can't lose this from here. It's got to be a victory going to Alpine and going to the birthday boy. Into the pits goes Fernandez. He's onto soft. He's behind Bakey. Bakey Gaming has pulled off the undercut. Superb by the Ferrari. But this is dry running to the very end of the Grand Prix now. And the number of drivers on the hards, I really don't understand. You've got Ivy, King OG and Joshy. Why are they all on hards? What are you doing, lads? Why? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're quick enough, you might get them to work. But if you were quick enough to get the hards to work, why aren't you going for softs? And if you've got a set of mediums available, obviously you'd go for them as well. But hard tyres over a set of softs. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Again, if you're quick enough, you might get them to work, but you've got to be quick enough, and you've got to be quicker than the guys you're battling with. And in this race, when we saw them on drier tyres earlier on, guess who was the quickest when they were in clean air? Yes, it was this man, Mr. Poem. He was quicker than Ivy when they were in clean air. He gained 0.6 of a second. From 3 seconds to a 3.6 second lead. Then the safety car came out. And then everything changed. Now, Ivy is 1.6 behind. But they were on the same tyres, except Ivy's tyres were 1 lap fresher. Now he's on 1 lap older tyres. He's on hard, Poem's on softs. Surely there's no chance for Ivy in this race. Surely. And even Simon might have a look and think, you know what, I might have a chance here at getting a P2. Well, Mr. Poem has got the fast lap as well. That would be a bonus point. That could be 36 points heading to the birthday boy, Mr. Poem. It's critical for Mr. P to keep out of DRS. Yes, I agree with that. I mean, Ivy's doing well to keep the gap around 1.3 seconds. Who knows? The hards might work for him on the last lap. The last lap or so might be where Ivy can sort of bring them back into play. But, again, you have to wonder, if they're going to work on the last lap, did he not just have the pace to get the softs to work? Yeah, I mean, it's still a blunder. If he ends up winning, I would still call it a blunder, but at the same time, it's not a race-losing blunder. That's the difference. Because if he ends up winning, you sort of question, well, surely the softs would have done a better job than the hards. Yeah, if he is, yeah, the last 2 laps, that's exactly where Ivy could have a chance. We'll see. But at the moment, Poem's tyres will definitely be better. Or feel better. But again, it's not... The battle is not Mr. P on softs versus Ivy on mediums. If it was that, then I would say Ivy has a chance. Like a real chance. But on hards, I mean, it's a lot more tricky on hards to get them working efficiently against a set of softs within 10 laps on a full race distance. Because again, if it's a 50% race, you've got to consider Mr. Poem would be on 5 lap old softs, Ivy would be on 5 lap old hards rather, at the end of a race. What would you expect to be better in that time? You'd expect the softs to be better than the hards, or at least matching pace 5 laps into a 36 lap race. That's Woody Fernandez ahead of Big Gaming back up into 4th. This isn't, you know, you're not factoring in that these are going to go 10 laps on a 50% race. They're going 10 laps on a 100% full race distance. That's where Mr. Poem's tyres should come good compared to Ivy. Thank you for the follow to... Interesting name. I'll call you Pits DC. Thank you for the follow though. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, Jack, are you able to pop in the Discord link? If you are able to, that would be absolutely grand. Yeah, at the moment though, Poem ahead of Ivy, still 1.2 seconds. We could have a battle for the last couple of laps. Ivy is still matching pace well. Those hard tyres can get himself back into it for those last lap or 2. But can they win him the race? Well, if they can they win him the race, it'll be more can Ivy win himself the race. Those hard tyres ain't winning him the race. It'll be Ivy winning himself the race if he wins. Oh yeah, no, I agree that the softs, the tyre wear on the softs isn't good. I do agree. But again, if it was a 50% race distance, then yeah, 10 laps on the softs, they would really die. And the hards would be superior, but on the full race distance, that's where it's a little bit different. Mr. Poem, once he gets to the end, 10 laps on those tyres, they'll be feeling okay still. Ivy 10 laps on hards, they'll probably just start to get into it. It could be a decent enough call for Ivy to win, but again, it's his pace that's bringing him into play, not his not the tyres. The tyres are not the ones bringing him into play here. But he's got himself a chance. He's still hovering around a 1 second window to get into DRS range. Speaking of chances, well, Baker Gaming still there behind William at 0.4 of a second. Actually went purple through sector 3 as well. So they will have a battle for 4th between William and Bakey Gaming. So Ivy here, 1.1 the gap towards Mr. Poem. Are we going to get a critical last lap showing and battle for the victory? The birthday boy Mr. Poem versus Ivy for the win. Simon's out of the question. He's 5 seconds adrift. He didn't look great in his dry running earlier on compared to what he looked certainly once it was heavy rainfall. Heavy rain, he looked good, but he's not been in the same class on these dry tyres. It's certainly a two-way battle. The two quickest drivers across all tyre compounds to see what they say. Oh, obviously no full wets. Oh, Simon's been disconnected. I will just send him an invite. It might have to be Woody getting him back in. Right, there's an invite to Simon if he's able to get back in. It's Poem! Poem has spun! Should never have sent the invite out because otherwise we wouldn't have missed that. That's annoying when somebody leaves. Poem has made a spin and that will give Ivy the lead. He's got a 2-second advantage now. And this period of time, I will say, I think Ivy's going to win because those hard tyres won't be losing time to our Mr. Poem. That's crucial for him. They will not be losing time. Yes, they probably won't be gaining too much, although a spin probably does cost Poem a bit of time in terms of trying to get the tyres down in terms of temperature. 2 seconds a gap. I don't think Poem's got himself a chance. Got just under 3 laps to go. 2.1 the gap, and again another mistake there by Poem. The gap out at 2.4, 2.5 seconds. And I think the race may just be done. We thought we were going to get to a last lap decider, but all of a sudden, it looks like Ivy's going to go on to win unless he makes a mistake. That little spin, or half spin by Mr. Poem, has cost him the lead and potentially even cost him the victory. So we will drop back down here for the battle for 4th. Willie Fernandez and Bakey Gaming. Simon, I do believe, did he get back in the session? I think he may have done, but we're going to keep an eye out for this one. It looks like Simon will have a podium anyway, as Bakey Gaming just shaping up a move on the inside on Fernandez, not quite able to secure the overtake, and Simon is now back into the lobby. Yeah, the battle for 4th place, the one to watch then, because it's surely going to be the win for Ivy, unless Poem can somehow get himself back within the 1 second window in these final 2 laps of racing. 3 second penalty once more to Cowley. And that's a penalty situation for you. If you guys want to do the math, feel free. Tesco Meal Deals very close actually with Joshy in terms of who gets the 6th place finish. 6 seconds is what Tesco needs. He's got 6.3 seconds on the Kick Sauber. So it's going to be close between those two. King EOG looks settled for P8. Viking, yeah, and then the rest is literally as it is. The battle for P6 could be on between Tesco and Joshy. Ivy, with just over a lap to go now. No way is somebody going to lose the race. What's happening here? Cowley's off. Nothing major in terms of the race lead. Did they have contact? No, they definitely didn't have contact. Mr. Poem had a half spin. That's what happened. But sadly, it happened just as I was sending an invite to Simon. Just as I sent the invite to Simon, Mr. Poem had a half spin. And I gifted Ivy the lead and gifted him a 2 second advantage. Since then, he made another mistake and the gap opened up to 2.5 seconds. But it's been pretty level since then. Cowley with another penalty, but again, he just has to finish the race now and then he'll get a P11. You do score points even if you finish outside the top 10. You score points all the way down to P20 and obviously there's 14 drivers. So if you finish the race, you will score yourself points in this race. But yeah, Ivy looks like he's going to hold on for the victory. Poem in P2. Simon, William, Bakey Gaming trying to battle with William for 4th and 5th. We are on to the final lap as well. Let's have a look here. Fernandez going to the outside line against Bakey Gaming. One final opportunity potentially for Bakey Gaming, but he's not going to get a great exit out of the centre S's. So this is going to be it pretty much for the finishing positions. It's going to be close for P6 still, but Bakey does not get through on Fernandez. But back up the front, we have to go because Ivy will secure the win here at Brazil, at Interlagos, in the 100% tier. Round 5 goes to Ivy. Or is it round 4? But either way, Mr. Pub secures second place on his birthday. Not quite a win, but you know what? He was up there through near enough the entirety of the event. A great battle for the two of them. Simon comes home on the podium. The informed tier 1 driver, or well, one of the informed tier 1 drivers, secures third place. Willie Fernandez, he's going to do enough. The tier 2 championship contender, he will do enough to secure fourth place, and across the line he goes. Bakey Gaming, also impressive. He takes fifth. Tesco Meal Deals, well, he's out of it. What's happened to him? Is he out of fuel? Either way, got Joshy, P6, Kingy OG in P7. Tesco Meal Deals crosses line in 8th, but will Viking Fox get ahead of Tesco Meal Deals? Widget finishes P10, County P11. County's actually got yellow flags, but we're going to go back to Viking Fox then. He will get home in P9. Oh my god, look at the gap, 18 thousandths of a second. County P11, but the win heads to Ivy. 1 second over Mr. Poem. Absolutely extraordinary stuff in that whole race. To be fair, those two at the front, Ivy and Mr. Poem, were neck and neck. Once the rain appeared, Simon was also in the picture. But wow. And the podium celebrations then for Ivy. Securing the trophy, securing the victory. Does he have himself a chance to win the race? That's not to win the race, but to win the championship. That's the question. Right, there you go. So as you can see, race winner Ivy. Fast lap goes to Joshy. Driver of the day, Kingy OG. Most overtakes a PRV widget. Cleanest driver goes to Willie Fernandez. Although, if you ask tier 2 who's the cleanest driver, I don't think William will get that award just yet. Ivy takes the win. There you go. 1 second to Mr. Poem. They were, again, pretty much in a league of their own, bar when Simon entered it in on the wet conditions. Third for Simon, William in 4th, Bakey in 5th. Josh with the fast lap gets P6, and he got Kingy, Tesco, Viking, Widget, and Cowley all the way down to P11. And then a few drivers, Iron Shin, one of those, Merck the other, and also Woody retiring from the Grand Prix. Once again, Ivy fends off Mr. Poem to take home a last lap win. I say last lap win. It was really like a 4th last lap win. That's pretty much, I think, when Mr. Poem made the error. It was about the 4th lap to the end, maybe the 5th lap to the end, but either way, that was the only sort of error there. But yeah, Ivy getting a victory. And now let's have a little look what we have in store for the upcoming week. So tier 1 back on Monday night, 8 o'clock PM, and we will head round 5 to Abu Dhabi. I'll be taking actually an engine penalty for that one, so I look forward to that. Tier 2, 8 o'clock PM Tuesday night, we will head to the Austrian Grand Prix. Tier 3, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock PM, we'll be heading to Zandvoort, and that'll be at the Netherlands. And next Friday, for the 100% tier, round 5 heads to Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. Week after that, by the way, in 2 weeks' time, we've got a reverse championship grid race at the Bahrain International Circuit. We'll look forward to that. But for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. I hope you've had an excellent night, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it here on Friday night. We have been UFRL. I have been UFRL F1 Viva. Thank you for watching. And once again, happy birthday to UFRL, Mr. Poem, and congratulations for the win to Ivy. Thank you for watching, and good night.
The crowd goes wild. UFRL king, yeah, you've got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne and wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Beat up, let the good times play. Knock some short cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild. You follow king, yeah, you got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne and wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Beat up, let the good times play. Knock some short cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. The crowd goes wild. You follow king, yeah, you got style. Mr. Bone, it's your time to shine. Track light flashing, champagne and wine. Hey, hey, Mr. Bone, this is your day. Beat up, let the good times play. Knock some short cheers all the way. Happy birthday, Mr. Bone. Hey. Engines rolling, let's go down. Adrenaline runs through the battleground. We face the edge, no time to break. One shot to win, one life to take. From the first turn through the final fair, we own the track, we breathe the dare. We is the land, we glory the day. We use the lead, we rise in flame. Feel the fire, feel the speed. Push it hard and take the lead. Run, burn, hearts collide. We were born to rule this ride. Raise the flag. Victory time, ultimate formula, the finish line. Hell screams and tires fly. We tear the limits, kiss to the sky. No retreat, no second place. Every lap we set the pace. The legend.